So this is Kerbal's space program, and this is at the middle of the video. You'll probably get to this. So I'm gonna leave, but this is only because I was trying to record it, but something went wrong. So if you're a beginner, complete beginner, you should probably watch this. If you've already played it a few times and you've already started one and then you don't leave it, then I don't recommend you watch this. But anyway, so you click Start New or Assume Saved, and this stands for I forgot what it stands for. I'm gonna make a new one. I'm gonna keep it as unnamed. No. I'll call it Starter Piece. Wait, that is because Starter Piece. I think it's what piece. I forgot to spell piece. But anyway, so that's Starter Piece, and this I'll show you how if you want to start off. But if you've already started one, I recommend you start a new one just first. So you can read it, but I'm just going to click thanks, I've got it. You can pause the video and read it if you want. So, even though you should go to vehicle assembly building first, I would go to the mission control first. Here in the mission control, you can do contracts and you get stuff like science, which science is really useful, and so is reputation, and this. Because this is useful because you can also upgrade your scientists. So when and there's also one way your reputation goes up, you also get science. It's really useful. Extinct the atmosphere, I'll do probably at the end of this video. But the first two you should do are these two. Gather scientific data from Kerbal and launch your first vessel. If you know how to do it, you can do it. But if you don't, I'll show you how to do it. And as you can see, the max contracts you can accept is 2. So you should try to finish them as quick as you can, because most of the offers have a time limit. But when you accept it, you go to active, and then you check and look, expires never. So if you want, you should just try to complete it, so you can get to the other ones which expire a bit quicker. This one I can go on to quite quickly because I know how to do it. So I'm going to accept this one too, and I'm going to leave. You can do the first two straight away because they're quite easy. They're basically what you will do. So you can read this, but I'm going to say got it because I've read them like 20 times, I think, more than that. So I'm going to put got it. And at first I'm going to put the pod on. And then the utility. But if you want time to do that, right now I'm on pods, by the way, and I use this. You might have a different version, I think, but so just read the name and use the name. And when you're starting, you might not have anything else, so it'll be quite easy to know which one. But it's the MK1 command pod, as it says here. So then you go to utility. Here in utility, you get mostly parachutes, and if you have any other parachutes, don't use them. Just use this one. It doesn't matter what it looks like, just use the MK16 parachute. You can read the description if you want. The MK16 parachute might be considered by some little more than blah 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 blah. I'm not reading it because I think I've read it before, but you can read it if you want, so you can pause the video and read it. I've never used this, so I don't really know what it's for, but somehow, I'm not going to use it though. So I think those are for when you're on the moon or something. So these two could take quite long to get, but if you know how to play the game, you can get it quickly. And one of my profiles already have it. It took me quite long. I really don't know why. I had to do some silly stuff, so I lose a lot of money. Oh, this is money. This is how much money you spend. I thought it was how much money you have, but it's actually how much money you spend. So you should click the basic thing, but right now we're not going to go into that. That will be when we're doing the escape the atmosphere. So now we'll just need an engine. RT5 Flea solid booster. You know when it's red? This red stuff doesn't matter because look, it's still 1057. If I take it away, nothing will happen. because when it's red like that, if you launch it, which I say, if you launch it, it will only launch this. It won't actually launch this. You'll have to attach it. And watch what happens to the money when I attach it. The money this way. Watch what happens to how much I'm paying when I attach it. See, it expands. 1,257. Kerbal. So this is all we need, a 3-parted rocket. And I'm not going to save it, but because you won't really use that many times. It's quite easy to make, only 3 parts. So this is when we're launching, but I'm not going to launch it yet. I really don't know what that is. I'm not going to launch it yet. You see these two things. This is the engine. I can activate it, and then I would go into the air, most likely. But since this is also in the same the same box, the parachute will activate at the same time while I'm flying. Then the rocket will start acting up, like it'll start spinning around like that. It'll start spinning around, and that won't be good, because then it'll be harder to stay steady. So there's another technique for doing that, but I'll show you when we're doing escape the atmosphere to help you keep steady. So if you hover around on the 0 box, you see, if you hover around, you'll see a minus and a plus appears. So what you want to do is click the plus, and another box appears. There, instead of going top to bottom, where the things happen, it's actually bottom to top. So since you want to blast off into the air first, you'll put this in here. So you go into the air, and then when you run out of fuel, you keep going up. But when you start going down, then you want to activate your parachute at like 7,000 or 8,000 meters in the air, but that's the second step. So first you activate the engine, then you do this. So that's fine. And make sure you check any misconceptions if you've done something wrong or anything. So now, here's a pilot. That's good. So I click space. You click space. If you have the keyboard, you click space bar. It's kind of convenient that since the game is a bit mostly like space, then you actually use a space bar. And it's not funny, but it makes me laugh sometimes. Even though I'm not laughing. So you click space and watch what happens. But before I click space, if you want to go back and try again, you don't use any money to do this. You can just do it. It's revert flight. Watch. When you click it, like you've done something wrong, you click revert flight, and then you click revert launch, and it takes you back to where you first started. Revert to vehicle assembly is when we were making this rocket. That's the vehicle assembly. So we have to go back. So if we want to change anything on the rocket, we can do that. So I'm going to click space and watch what happens. But wait, actually, sorry. But since I reverted flight, everything's respawned, so you have to do this again. So now I'm going to click space. And look, it goes. The solid fuel goes, but this will go until this is like 10,000, I think. The atmosphere, you'll probably be like here, maybe here. You get quite far. It's kind of astonishing that even though you don't have any like rocket fuel, but you're still going so high in the air. Yeah, look, I've actually gone higher than I predicted. And we've also finished a contract. So launch first vessel. That contract is done, and then you get some extra rewards if you actually finish it. And this is world first milestones when you first take off, and it's all your millimeters and altitude records and everything. So you get extra signs for that. And I'll delete them, but I'm just gonna keep them for now. And look, I start going a bit slower, and I basically exited the tiny bits. If I had fuel, I would be actually exiting the atmosphere. But we don't have enough money to do that. So we should do this and we'll get money. And look, here, see? We are falling right now. So you'd want to try and position yourself upwards. If you can't do that, you should, while this is white, you deploy shoot. I would do the altitude to 5,000. That's what I usually do. And if you want to put the pressure to full, I don't know why I should randomly do it. This means I think it's deployed. And there's also a few tutorials and training sessions to help you do this. So I'm gonna have to leave soon, but you can just do this. And can you see it hasn't deployed because I'm going a bit too fast down. So you click T, and look, it stabilizes you. But we need the parachute right now. So at 5,000, the parachute will come out, I think. And before you explode, you can click S and revert flight. That's what I'm going to do. Because I make mistakes, but I revert flight and it makes it easier. So this will be the end of the video. But I'm just going to do a few things before. Yeah, this is going to be the end of... So this could be the end of the video. And my next video, we'll actually do all of them. Since we reverted flight, all our messages gone, so we're gonna have to do it again, but it's fine. I'm gonna do 2 at a time when we land.